Hey everybody, Wandering Kid here. If you're not familiar, KSP 0.90 came out today. And that means we've gone to full career mode beta. Now, one of the things I did while you weren't with me was I went through and I did the basic launchpad and runway research just to get it out of the way so it's not being a pain in the butt. So I've opened up the Tier 1 items for basic rocketry. I don't have enough for Tier 2 yet. Now, looks like settings I just did for full res are actually not good. There, that looks a lot crisper. Okay. So our first set of missions is to launch a craft and get to 5K. That's a simple enough task to do. We're going to do, just going to slap parachute on the top. And we'll slack a decoupler underneath it. And a small fuel tank. Don't need much for this run. Now, we're going to take out a good chunk of the solid fuel on this. I think that should be right. Okay, well, at full, you can get up to like 17, 18K. I don't want to go that high. So if I cut it in half, that should bring me up to about 8K, so we'll knock a little bit more off the top. In worst case scenario, we'll relaunch. So, 1500, and these two contracts, well, you can't see their value here. They should certainly cover this launch cost. So, let's go check it out. Now, who's we got in crew? Jeb. Okay, good. So, off to the launch pad. Now, a bunch of things are new in 0.90.0. And one of them is SAS only works if you have a pilot. Your starting three guys, Jeb, Bill, and Bob, they're pilot, engineer, and scientist. Scientist is not particularly helpful yet. Let's see where we go. So I'm not too worried about keeping the scientists involved. They've got to get levels by doing things in different biomes. Oh yeah, that should be plenty. What we'll do is we'll twist over. There we go, there's my 5K. We'll kick that away from the landing pad. Shut off SAS and we'll pop my chute. It's still going up a bit. There we go. But they changed a lot of things, and one of the big reasons I've been really excited about Better Than Ever is that career mode was supposed to finally get its overhaul and finally be more than just a sandbox. I've been screwing around with KSP for a while, but I never really could get into it because of that sandbox. I've gone to Eve, I've hooked up to Moho with less than 10,000 Delta V, things like that. I've gone out and played around. I can launch space planes. I haven't done the 100-tonner yet, but that's more a part and frustration and lag issue than anything else. But in general, I know how KSP works. But it just never felt like a game to me. It was just a sandbox. And I've got plenty of sandboxes I play, such as Dwarf Fortress and things like that. Now, some of my Dwarf Fortress fans actually may be watching this. Furnace Clans isn't dead. Just KSP had me hot to trot on this. Oh, my booster just blew up down there. Might have taken out the flag. But anyway, so one of the things that's going to be limiting at the beginning is the fact that your rockets can only be 18 tons. Now that sounds like a lot, but that's just enough to get you up into space. Add to that you don't have things like maneuver nodes, targeting, or things like that until you've upgraded different buildings out here. It's going to be much harder to drive and do anything more than just basic items around Kerbal. The other thing that's tricky is a lot of your initial fundage is going to come from your contracts. Well, all your funds are really going to come from contracts. But the problem is you can only take 2 on at a time right now, so you don't want to overstep yourself on the exploration contracts. So we're going to walk through all of those contracts one by one on each stage. And that's kind of why I brought you in to watch the 5K launch while I introduce myself. So I'm Wandering Kid, and here's my space agency. Let's have some fun. Clean those out. Now, let me see here. Crew report. Oh, I ended up landing on the launch pad, so that's no good. All right. So we'll recover the vessel. I should have taken a crew report while I was in the air. I just didn't think about it. I was sitting here babbling at y'all. So, vessel survived a flight. We got most of it back. It cost us 500 in fuel. So we come back in here. The ship's still built. I got 1,022 back. I got 1,599. So it cost me about 560 to take that up. Let's go take a look at our next contract. Excellent. So we have a couple of visual surveys of Kerbin. Sometimes these can be nearby. Okay. From screwing around and trying to just get this system settled down, I know my next record is going to be a 22K record. So we're going to take that 11K. Now, what can we do from the ground? Now, test, let's see, where does this Mark R2 want to be tested at? At 370 to 770, right in our target range. It's a nice piece, a little bit of cash right there. And how about this one? That one's actually harder to achieve. So, actually, the Mark II-R radial mount is the ones I eventually want to get. So that will work. I'll take that, because what that does is it'll let me hang on to a little more ship. So, active 2, max 2. What do we get for these? We got 3.5 grand or so. We're making money. Good. This one's worth 3 grand. This will put some change in our pocket for another 2. So I can build a 5 grand ship at most for this next launch. Certainly won't need it. So, we're going to do this. Excuse me. I'll grab a fuel tank. One of these. Actually, we can make this lighter. We'll slap a T30 on the bottom. Yavut. We need the parachutes in a different stage. Utility, and we'll slap a pair of radials on. And because well, I guess it doesn't really matter if I weld the door shut right now. I can't EVA in the air anyway. Well, I may want to get out if I land in a strange up place, so move this down a little bit. And we'll get a little science from low orbit here, or low atmo. Okay, now they've also added this information button down here. Now I'm at 5 tons. Of the 18 tons I'm limited to for my launch pad right now, and I'm within my size requirements. I'm going to want to be able to watch this component. So that should do us. Now, one of the things I do miss is action groups. I like being able to hit one, pop both of my science cans, and move on, but that's no longer there. Let's make sure Dreb is driving. He is. Now, I should have enough Delta V for this. Let's double check. I won't bring it up to, I don't know, 75%. Sounds good. Okay, let's get ourselves a crew report. We'll observe the goo. How's our fuel going up? Let's get some more thrust out of this. Okay, we should get over 370, no problem. Yep, we're out of fuel. Still got plenty of vertical velocity. Oh, we're evening off. And there we go. Oh, my speed dropped too quickly. Oh well. We'll get ourselves slowed down and turned around here, turn off SAS, and land again. So this will take a bit. I'll warp this down. Well, that's going to cause problems, but the next one's a 22K, so as I'm falling back in, hopefully I'll be able to kick that off. Chute should pop shortly. There they go. Yeah, okay, that's a decent landing speed. All of this is really building up so that we can get to orbit. That's really all of this is. There we go, 7.8. Not getting as much for that anymore. We got most of our funds recovered, so we're looking good. So, next contract is a 22K record. Look at that. Now, I'm going to have to be careful because I really need to set this off this time. Let's go into science. I have 24.3. The LVT45 is very helpful. So are the radial decouplers. I'm going to go after radial decouplers first. They're the only thing I want in this pack, but that's okay. And the reason for that is for when I want to go to orbit. Okay, now, we're not getting into upper altitude. We won't need that. Let's make sure we got enough fuel with us. Slap small tank on. Even cheaper now. Woot woot. Now, I could have gone for science and gotten the mat bay and ran around and done more materials bays, but we're not going to do that right now. Because it's boring. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch. And what I'm hoping to do is I'll have enough fuel. When I'm coming back down, I'll be able to go faster through the radius for the radials and be able to pop them coming in. So, up we go. Let's get up to terminal velocity. There we go. Way over terminal. Yeah, that should do it. So now we just climb for a bit. We gotta get up to 22K. Yeah, let's roll her over. Because I don't have the contract for getting out of the Atmo yet, so I don't want to pop that one. There, okay. Let me make sure I shouldn't get out. What's my APO? Oh, 28? Yeah, okay, I'm good. That's another thing. Until your guy gets up to a certain point, or your tracking station does, you can't see time to apoapsis anymore either. So you gotta eyeball a lot of stuff. So let's see how fast we can get this going down. So we get all the way up. There it goes. It's full burn. Okay, that was the end of our fuel. Might be able to get it. Guess we might as well roll over, huh? Well, we're definitely going to hit the speed numbers. Now we just got to make sure we do it inside the right altitudes. Those with deadly reentry, beware. You can rip off parachutes. And ba-dump, there goes that contract. There we go. So now we just land again. Now I don't remember which one's after the 22K. I think the next one is to break Atmo. Let's go down near the ground here at a reasonable speed. Oh dear, I may be landing in the pool. Maybe the Science Center wants this research directly, huh? We'll just hand it right to them. Where's my shadow? There it is. Ah, looks like I'm going to land on a bit of an arc there. Oh good, nothing broke. So we can recover our vessel. No science. At R&D, 98%. Nice. Actually, I should have probably popped out and grabbed an EVA over there. But we got most of our funds back. And there we go. So our next mission is going to be a 33K. And that's worth a decent penny. Now, there's something else I want to take a look at, and that's in the administration building. Outsourced R&D is worth tremendous amounts of science for us. Setup costs would take up most of my cash right now. I'm not ready to do that yet. So, we're going to get our 33K. And they want me to test an engine. No, we're not doing that. Actually, let's see if one of these surveys are nearby. They are, actually. There is a survey right here. OS3C. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that one yet. Not unless it's worth a fortune. OS3C is only worth 9K now, so we're not doing those. Let's see, do we have it? We'd have to test this while splashed down. That's really not worth doing. Another splash down. Definitely not worth doing. There we go, an in-flight test. That's way too slow for that height. Oh, an RT-10 well landed? We could use that as a goose to get up. It's only worth 30 though. Not really worth it. Test a radial decoupler in flight. I don't usually use them that high. So you can see you've really got to decide what you're doing with these contracts as you go through them. Usually my radials I deploy either above 20K, because they're my lifter phase, and then I've got an insertion phase, or it's below 10K, which is where I use my SRBs. This one wants to be tested in flight. Now you can empty out a solid rocket booster of all fuel and just stage it. And that counts as a test for these things' purposes. Well, it's not an unreasonable speed for that height. You'd have to go up a little slow, but not too bad. Now this could be funny. Between 5100 to 1310, test some Sephiratron 1s. It's a decent price for how much they cost. Yeah, this could be fun. So we'll add that in. Just double check. At 5100, okay. So you guys will like this. This should be funny. So we know this isn't quite enough fuel to get all the way up. See, now I'm concerned, though. I don't think this is going to be enough parachutes to actually bring us down safely. So we're going to make this a disposable component. Which means I won't need these. And engines, Separatrons. We'll put 2 of them on. We'll just let them give us a goose when we're ready. So we need to move things around. So we'll go up on this. We'll fire these off when we need to. And then once we hit where we want to be, we'll ignite. Or we'll dump. This may be a little too much fuel, but it should be alright. Now 33K I think would have gotten me into upper atmo. I probably could have brought a pair of goo cans with me. Just not really worth it to me right now. So we'll get this throttled up. We'll make sure I can see this. I think 2/3 throttle should be fine for what we're doing. So now we just got to climb. Definitely in the speed bracket. And hey, what do you know? Separatrons! Okay, so 430 funds wasn't really a lot of money. But, hey. What's my Apple looking like? Just want to kind of hold it just above it. Break 33 here in a second. There it goes. Cut engines. Alright, let's kick this thing away from the KSC. Eventually gravity should take that somewhere else. Looks like I'm going for the water. And we just drop like a brick. Yeah, it should be coming right back down. And it's on the third peninsula down, actually. Yeah, let's pop the chute. Oh no. I thought I kicked that further away. What's that thing gonna hit? Oh, I think it's gonna land on the flagpole. Nope, right into the admin building? Oh, I got lucky. It missed everything. Oh, so lucky. Okay, I need to be more careful with debris, especially when I'm doing these little altitude pops. Usually I kick them out while I'm on my way to orbit, so I don't care because they disappear in the 2.5K range. Huh, I should have gotten an upper atmosphere crew report too. And we'll get one from KSC grounds here. You can tell I'm not overly worried about the science here. There's a reason for that. Yeah, well, we got our 1,000 back. That craft had cost me 4.5K, so. And the Separatrons are cheap. Not too worried about those. Not all tests are worth the parts cost. Keep that in mind when you're looking at this stuff. So, our next one is 56K. Now, I'm getting a little worried because I'm afraid I'll escape the atmosphere will trigger. Because that one's an easy one to miss. So we'll grab, let's see here. I've got 35. I want 40K, well, 47K in funds before I trigger the equivalent of free science. So we're going to grab our setter altitude record. Is there anything up here worth grabbing? Well, radial's not a bad one. If I needed radial to get up there. Problem is if I drag anything, if I drag things hanging off the side of my rocket up to 19.8, it's just a complete waste. Okay, so we'll do an up, down, and we'll do an escape the atmosphere. So we'll accept that. Now, there's a bird I typically use that gets me orbital, which is what I'm going to use. And this gets near the limit of what you're actually able to build until you get some upgrades going. Because, wait. I won't say it's a limit to your delta V, but it does get near the limit of your weight. I'm certainly not an expert rocket builder. I'm just good enough to enjoy playing. So that's my 2 SRBs. You detach and then fire off your main. I got a contract still open. Oh, there we go. And that puts me at 16.5 tons of 18 tons. Look how simplified this rocket is. I have almost nothing going on here. I have a cockpit, a parachute, 3 separators, 2 heavy boosters, 3 cans of fuel, and a T-30. That's it. That's all I got. It's a cheap rocket. It's a 7K rocket. It's not like, you know, they're costing me a fortune for this or anything. So it's not like it cost me a tremendous amount. But this thing can basically orbit. It's not getting much above 75, maybe 80K. It can just barely deorbit itself, and you aerobrake your way the rest of the way in. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there that can build some amazing tools. But this is roughly as big as I'm going to be able to get inside this rate. Can probably get one more FLT 200 into there. The problem is you start running into a delta V problem with the T-30 with fuel lifting fuel. You can't get another 400 tank in. Now, one of the things you could theoretically do is slap some radial decouplers on and pop some extra fuel out. Maybe? I don't know. I'll leave that to people who actually look at rocket design statistics and figure that out. So, breaking atmo. Just in case I do something silly with it. And this will be our last flight for this episode. This next episode will be where we actually go to orbit and start screwing around up there, and I play around with some of the other settings. But let's go break the last record. Up we go. So we're just going to ride out these SRBs for a while. They won't quite overheat, but they think about it. You could throw nose cones or something else to help let them bleed heat off, but it's unnecessary in this configuration. Pop them, and here we go. We're just going to go straight up. Now, let's zoom in here, bring up our nav ball. What's our APO looking like? Yep, we'll get there eventually. Now, when you're just beginning and you don't have any of your mods and stuff like that that are up, like usually I've got Kerr up so I can see my height over altitude over ground and things like that. You can always pop open the information channel, information tab thing here, and look at your altitude here. So we're just going to head straight up here. You just need to break 70K and then we'll drop back in. We should have, yeah, we got plenty of fuel for this little bit. You notice I'm not even doing my grav turn. I'm just going to go straight up. I'm still in very thick air, so I may have to give this a nudge. I just kind of want to just crest 70. So our altitudes have been 22, 33. Now I'll grab a crew report here and transmit it from upper atmo. Yep, we're just going to crest. So that'll work just fine. It's so tempting to try and run down to the contract station and make sure there's not like a 68K or something silly like that. But we'll just cruise. I'm also kind of curious to see where I come down. So I think I'm going to stay pretty much in step with the KSC, but let's see. And there we go. Broken atmo. We'll do orbit on the next run. Now, had I done a gravity turn, I would probably be at about 200, 250, somewhere, 200, 240, somewhere in there. coming up here and I'd just be able to just sneak in orbit. Alright, I'm going to bleed off some of this speed. Yeah, let's aim this way. Well, I'm going to aim myself so I can. I also lock staging so I don't pop anything by accident. Well, it looks like I'm going to fall straight down over here in the grasslands. We'll see how things actually go. Well, let's speed things along here. Oh no, I should be fine. I'm not going to come straight down on it. Yeah, that should be plenty. Let's... Oh yeah, lock the staging. So, I had too much fuel. I probably could have taken one of these cans off. Nothing like a straight down re-entry speed, right? Pop our chutes when we get lower, just to speed along our descent here. Terminal velocity is your friend. Let's get the chutes out. Careful when you're, if you're new and you don't know, watch your physics work during parachute pop and landing. Parachute pop should be at 500 meters above the surface of the ground, and landing, because the physics gets a little wonky sometimes. So, whoop. Let's EVA. We'll grab an EVA report. That one's good. Store it. We'll get off. That sounds horrible. And we'll board, and we'll recover the vessel. So there we go. There's the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 contracts that are part of your exploration. You'll notice I'm up to 35 science right now. And I've got some of Tier 2 open. This will give me just enough to finish opening up Tier 2. So we'll grab that, and we'll grab the LVT-45, and we'll grab this. And all 3 of these are actually good items to have, so we'll just grab all of them. And that will give me some more options once I decide to go orbiting. So we close this up. Our next stop, orbiting Kerbin. Thanks guys for watching. I will bring you back for the next episode. I hope you enjoy it. Please leave some comments down below if you like this, if you want me to continue this series. For my Furnace Clan folks, please be aware I am not giving up on Furnace Clans. It's definitely continuing. I'm just at a really boring spot at the moment, and I'm just got to let it run for a while. And this really had I've been looking forward to .90 for a while, so this will be distracting along with the holidays.